Hi all, this is a short review of the game that I played yesterday. I was playing black in a game of the league competition, so it's a team match, 8 players against 8 players. And I was sitting on board number 3, and I had this Nimso Indian defense. I was playing black, and after d5, c takes d5. Well, this is the first moment when I had to make a choice whether to take with the knight on d5 or with the e-pawn. I chose the e-pawn for the reason that then I have a strong hold of the e4 square, so a move like e4 from his side would be almost impossible. Now the disadvantage of having a pawn on d5 is that my bishop is blocked, but the influence on e4, I found that more important at the moment. Now he played bishop to f4, moving the bishop out of the pawn chain before playing e3, and also threatening things like knight to b5 and threatening to take on c7. So to prevent that, I played a cautious move a6. He answered a3, giving the square h2 for the white bishop in case that I would try to challenge him with knight h5, and I castled. He played e3, preparing to develop his light squared bishop and castle. I played my knight from b to d7. Now the play of black is based now on preparing the move c5 to challenge the center of white. And he played here, oh, I'm sorry about that last arrow. Okay, he played here rook to d1, and I had the possibility here to play c5, but I preferred to play rook to e8 first, to put my rook on the same line of his king. His king is uncastled yet, so then it would be later stronger to play c5 and threaten to take on d4, having the possibility of opening this e-file. He played here bishop to d3, and now I played c5. Now probably my opponent thought that it could be dangerous in the future to keep his queen on the c-file, since later my rook is going to c8. So what he did here is he moved his queen immediately to b1. I played rook to c8, and then he came with knight to g5, threatening to take on h7. And here there are different possibilities to defend this. One could be, for example, knight to f8, but I wanted to keep my knight looking at c5. Another option is to play g6, and that's what I did in the game. I played g6, realizing that I am weakening my dark squares around my king, but on the other hand I still have my dark square bishop, so this dark square bishop can be put on g7 in 2 moves. So that's why I didn't bother that much about the weaknesses of dark squares. He castled, and then actually castling is a mistake, because that gives me the possibility of playing knight to h5, and now I'm not only attacking this knight twice with queen and bishop, but I'm only threatening to take on f4. So he played knight to f3 to save his knight, and then I took on f4, and after e takes f4 I have a good position. I got rid of his dark squared bishop, he has a double pawn, and I'm okay now. Now I took on d4, he took with the knight, and I placed my bishop on f6, placing the bishop on this beautiful long diagonal. Now the knight on d4 is attacked, so he played bishop to c2 to defend it with the rook, and I went with my knight to c5, and here he played f5. And of course this is the most logical way to play for white, since he has these 2 strong pieces directed towards the king side. f5 is a good idea to attack on this side. I played here queen to c7. The idea is not only to put these 2 on the same line, with the idea of, after exchanging on d4, have a potential attack on the bishop on c2. But the idea of queen c7 is also that the queen is defending the 7th rank. So that means that this prevents an eventual take on g6 and after that a sacrifice of the bishop on g6, because my queen can defend by going to g7 easily. In that case, he took now on g6, I took with the h-pawn. So now not bishop takes g6, but knight c to e2. I went with my knight to e6. The idea was to exchange this knight of white that is blocking my pawn, and here he played bishop to a4. I was surprised by this move because it allows me to take on d4. Knight takes d4, and here if he takes on e8, bishop takes e8, then I can take on e2 with check, so then I win material. That means that I don't need to worry about this threatened rook on e8. So here he took on d4 and I played rook to e4, and at this moment in the game I thought that I was winning a piece. I thought that he could, the simple fact that this bishop is undefended and his knight is attacked twice, I thought that this would give me material, but he found a way to lose a piece by playing rook to c1. And now I had the question where to go with my queen. One option would be, for example, to go to d8, but then he has moves like bishop to c6 attacking my bishop, and if I take here, then he takes with the knight attacking my queen. So actually in this position here I was trying to look for a strong square for my queen where it would not be attacked easily. So I decided to, after this move, I decided to place my queen on f4. Queen f4, on one hand on the same line where these two white pieces are standing, and also with the idea of later taking here on d4 with my bishop and putting pressure on f2. So after queen f4 he took on c8 with check. I took back with my bishop, and then he played queen to c2, and somehow here something strange happened with me, because I was like so much focused on this idea of taking on d4 to attack the f2 pawn with bishop and queen, that I didn't see the option of this move bishop takes h3. That would have been a very strong move, since, for example, if knights go to e2 attacking my queen, then I could go with my queen to g5, pinning the pawn on g2, and if then knights to g3 blocking the pin and attacking my rook, I would be able to play rook to c4 attacking his queen, and after the queen has moved, then I can save my bishop, and then I would simply have won a pawn, be a pawn up with all active pieces here. This would have been a very strong position for me, but I missed it, and I'll go back to the position in the game. After queen to c2, I took on d4 with my bishop and allowed him to take on c8 with check, and now played my king to c7 to g7, I'm sorry, and he defended by playing bishop to d1. This bishop controls e2, so it's not possible for me to put a rook on the second rank, and I thought for quite a long time trying to search for a way of winning this, but I didn't find a way to win this. So what I did is I played rook to e1, and the idea is that he cannot, for example, play queen to takes a6 defending the rook, because then I can take on f2 with queen, because the rook on f1 is pinned. So after rook e1 he found the best defense, and that's queen to c2, And here I took on f1, he took back with the king, and I played queen to e5, attacking the b2 pawn. He played b3, bishop to c3, threatening queen to e1 mate. He played g3, and here I gave a check here, king to g2, queen e4 check, and I offered him a draw. The draw offer is, well, not only because the position is now quite equal, I actually gave away my advantage, but above all because we were winning now by 2.5 points against a half point. So the chances of winning the whole match, the team match, were increased by doing this draw and not taking any risk of losing the game. So that's the game that I played yesterday. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you next time on YouTube. Bye bye, thanks.